Okay, so you are ready to design your brand identity or do a rebrand or refresh of what you have already got. What is your first step? Drawing a logo, choosing colors, scrolling font options. While these things can be super fun and exciting, you are missing a vital step: mood boards. Today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to curate a kick-ass mood board for your own brand so you can design an intentional, effective brand super efficiently and make sure it works for you and your brand strategy. Hello and welcome to Brand Your Passion, the show that helps you turn the thing you love the most into something that people know and love you for. I'm your host, Holly Arnett, the brand coach for creatives, and I'm on a mission to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. If you're ready to get more eyes on your work, more dollars in your pocket, and more creativity in your life, you're in the right place. Welcome. Let's brand your passion. It can be super tempting to just start creating logos and choosing colors and all of that fun stuff. But before you jump into designing, you need to take the time to create a mood board. Doing this now is going to save you time, energy, and money down the line when you don't have to go round and round in circles to decide on the direction of your brand and end up spending hour after hour scrolling fonts and designing dud logos after realizing that you're putting your brand together with no idea really where it should be going. So, what is a mood board? We know it's going to help you, we know it's going to save you time, but what the heck is it? Well, it is a succinct collection of visual assets that represent a brand's visual identity. It might contain inspirational examples of things like photos, colors, typography, quotes, patterns, shapes, and more, obviously, that make up a really cohesive direction for your brand that can be displayed and understood on one page. So it's really like a snapshot of the visual direction of your brand identity. But what makes a good mood board? What should it really do? Well, firstly, it should create individual inspiration and the overall vision. So it can provide inspiration for specific parts of your brand, but also the entire vision vibe. You should be able to look at each piece individually as its own inspiration for certain elements of your brand, and then the mood board as a whole for the overall direction. For example, your mood board's going to represent the overall vibe of your visual identity, but within the mood board you might have inspiration for fonts you might look for, brand photography styles, or a color palette that you might use. A mood board should also show a variety of visual elements. So it's no use really if a mood board just shows one thing over and over again. So instead of filling your mood board with logos, for example, think about the other parts of your brand and try to represent a bunch of them throughout the whole mood board. The more variety, the better, because then you'll be able to see the direction of the whole brand and how it might be applied to a range of touch points and assets in the future. A good mood board should also be indicative, not exact. So it's not a rule book for what you are going to make going forward. It's not like a prescription for exactly what you are going to do. So for example, just because you include some typographic inspiration that happens to be a piece of branded signage doesn't mean that you have to have a sign or that it has to be done exactly like that or you have to use that exact font. All it means is that you're inspired by that typography and that it feeds into the overall visual direction. The same goes for anything else you might include, and you have to be kind of careful with this because you want to be wary of plagiarism, you don't want to copy things, and you also don't want to feel trapped by the mood board. It's just an indication of ideas and a way to define your vibe, not an exact representation of what you're going to create. And a mood board also needs to be succinct, because if you are anything like me, you might be really tempted to start a new Pinterest board and fill it with everything and anything that you love, and you're going to end up with hundreds of unorganized pins that make you feel good and nice to look at, but it's not actually really very useful. So definitely fun, but not so fruitful, unfortunately. Less is more when it comes to a mood board, and it's only going to be as strong as the weakest piece. Mood boards that I've created in the past have included between 5 to 15 images maximum, and that's it. Any more than that, you're going to be confused and overwhelmed, and your direction isn't going to have focus. You want to keep it simple with really powerful, inspiring pieces, and you're going to have a really strong mood board with a clear visual direction. Okay, so on to the practical stuff. What do you actually include in a mood board? Well, it might seem kind of counterintuitive, but a mood board doesn't necessarily need to show just actual brand elements like logos and fonts and things. In fact, it can be best not to include those things because you don't want to just gather things that you're going to copy, like I mentioned earlier. You're creating an overall vibe that's going to inspire the direction, not the exact things you want to create. You can include a bunch of things, and if you go to the blog post of this episode, you will see I've created a Pinterest board for each of these categories. So if you want to start there, have a look at some inspiration that I've gathered, then that can be a really helpful place to start. But you can collect ideas and inspiration for logos, colors, typography, patterns, icons, illustrations, infographics, web designs, packaging designs, editorial designs, signage, posters, business cards, lettering, paintings, spatial art, sculptures, photographs, textures, a whole bunch of things. And you don't need to include all of these. It's really just a list to get you started. Also, don't feel like you have to be really literal either. You don't have to have a book or a magazine to include editorial design or to be an artist to be able to include sculptures and paintings. Whatever inspires you and helps to convey the overall vibe of your brand is good to go. So, how do you actually do this? How do you create your own mood board? Well, first of all, you need to have a brand strategy because that's going to help you to guide this whole process. In the brand strategy process, you will have or should have uncovered some keywords about your personality, some information about what your audience is attracted to, and things about what you do and don't want your identity to feel like. And you can use these keywords or this information to guide your search. For example, if you've decided that your brand needs to be dazzling and wow-worthy and sparkly and feel really fun and lively, then you can use those keywords to search for dazzling art and lively interiors or playful sculptures and things like that. So use the words and the phrases and the information that you've gathered in your strategy to guide your search. And first of all, you want to go really wide. So use those words, gather a bunch of stuff that is inspiring to you or calls to you or feels really exciting, and put those into some kind of tool that works for you. So you could use Figma, Milanote, Miro, Canva, Notion, Procreate, Adobe Illustrator, etc. Whatever tool is going to work for you that you can easily drop these images into. When you've got a wide range of stuff and you feel like you've exhausted your keywords and you've done a bunch of research and found things that inspire you, then you want to start narrowing it down. Firstly, you can just pick out things that resonate and stand out to you the most. There'll be things that you're way more into, way more excited by, that really feel like this could be the vibe, this could be the direction. So do that. You also want to go back to your keywords. So go through all the images that you've gathered and ask yourself, do they align with what I want my brand to look and feel like? Do they feel like the things that I said I didn't want? It can be really easy to get distracted as you're gathering inspiration and then realize, oh, actually it feels a little bit too corporate or a little bit too cold or a little bit too fun. So just go back through and use those keywords in that part of your brand strategy to narrow things down. And while you're doing this, move pieces to the side or hide them. Don't delete them because this is an iterative process. So you might hide some things or move them to the side and then feel like, oh, I actually need to bring kind of a more fun element back in. So I'll bring that piece back in and now the whole balance feels right. So don't delete things, just move them aside and start bringing together your mood board down to around 8 to 10 images. Aim for that. You could have a little bit less or a little bit more, but don't go too big. And then step back and look at what you've created. How does it feel overall? Does it feel aligned? Does it not? Does it have an overall good vibe? Is it maybe missing one element, or have you got too much of one element, or does it feel too much one way or not enough another way? So just step back and look at the whole mood board as a whole. And then how do you feel about it? Do you feel excited? Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? Does it need to change a little bit? Make any swaps and changes that you need to, and do that process again. Keep iterating, changing, stepping back, looking at it as a whole, rechecking with your keywords and your brand strategy. And then hopefully when you've done that process, you will have a mood board that really clearly defines the direction of your brand, that feels like you, and that makes you feel like you have enough of a direction to move forward now. Because now you can use your mood board to guide your design decision making. It's so much easier, faster, more efficient, and really intentional. You know where you're going and what you need to get there, and you feel really good about the direction, and you know that it's going to work when it comes to saying the right thing about you, attracting the right people, helping you stand out in the right way. It's really, really powerful. So now you are ready to create your own mood board. As I said, the thing to remember is that you're not looking to find the exact things to replicate, but finding inspirational elements that contribute to the overall vibe and direction. And there is a science to the process in terms of what to include and how many elements you should have, etc. All that stuff that I've talked you through. But it's also a bit of an art. So use your intuition, use your gut, use your creative instinct. You are going to know what feels right and what doesn't, and follow that feeling. When you feel really excited and you feel like it's aligned and it feels really good, that is a good thing, and that is a thing to follow. But when you have a piece of it that's just like niggling away at your brain, you're like, oh, I just don't think that bit's quite right, or something about this feels off to me, follow that feeling too. You will know how you feel and what feels good and best for you. And that's it. That is the key, and that is the process to creating a really effective mood board that will guide your brand identity and define your vibe and help you to build a amazing, effective, efficient, powerful brand identity going forward. Hope this has been really helpful. As always, please tag me if you share your mood board. I would absolutely love to see it. I love a good mood board, and you can share it for #MoodboardMonday. That's a classic Instagram hashtag for people sharing mood boards. So feel free to do that. Tag me in it, and I will come and celebrate the heck out of your new mood board. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion and choosing to spend time with me learning all about branding, business, and all things creativity. You can find more episodes just like this one at makerandmoxie.com/podcast. If you like this one, you can tap that subscribe or follow button so that you're notified about each and every new episode. And if you've got a spare second, please leave a review on iTunes or wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast, because I would absolutely 100% love to hear from you. If there were some helpful goodies in this episode for you, it would mean the world to me as well if you could screenshot that podcast player right now, hop on over to Instagram or Twitter and tag us at Maker and Moxie. By subscribing, reviewing, and sharing, you're helping reach more creators just like you, so that together we can make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. We can't achieve this mission without you, so your support means the absolute world. I will talk to you in the next episode, but until then, keep creating.